Yo, what's going on? This is that guy, Face the Music Media. We are back again for another episode of How I Sin. In this video, so apparently Cherry Audio doesn't really sound like a CS-80. And as a matter of fact, you just don't have good enough ears to realize that real voltage oscillators are obviously better sounding than digital emulations is your problem, I'm afraid. Let's get into it.
Oh yeah. Oh mama. Oh yeah. Face the music.
So, in this video, we are going to be taking a look at the real CS-80 versus Cherry Audio's GX-80. So I was going through some of the comments on one of my videos, matter of fact, on the Arturia CS-80 video, and there was some back and forth going on in the comments, and basically, there's a guy named Kevin Slaney, and basically he gets in the comments and says, problem is, Cherry Audio doesn't really sound like CS-80. But anyway, before we get into that, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and hit the thumbs up button if you enjoy the content. You know, it really does help with the algorithm, so we would appreciate if you would do that for us. Also, Sweet Fusion Volume 2 is out right now. We got the bundle deal going on so you can get both Volume 1 and Volume 2. You want to head over to realloops.com. That's REELLOOPS. Sweet Fusion Volume 2. So all together with both bundles, it's almost 500 sounds. Insane, including Mercury 6. So head over to realloops.com. Also, if you haven't already, check out the single playlist. I got a playlist for all of my singles. The next single is dropping soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm dropping a single every month, and so you want to stay tuned for that. Anyway, let's jump into this comment, man. It's actually hilarious. So we got our boy Kevin Slaney over here. He jumps in the comments and says, problem is, the Cherry Audio doesn't really sound like a CS-80. Just like any other soft synth, good, but not the CS-80 sound if that's what you're after. And why buy it if not for that? So his argument is GX-80 does not have the CS-80 sound. And so I'm testing that out. I'm pulling your card, Kevin Slaney. So, you know, we got people jumping in the comments and they're going against what he's saying. And so his next response is, touchy, aren't we? All I said was that CS-80V was the best and closest replica of the mighty hardware CS-80. I own the Arturia software, so I do use software too. Plenty of it. in response to your attack, just because you don't have good enough ears to realize that real voltage oscillators are obviously better sounding than digital emulations is your problem, I'm afraid. But I also appreciate analog hardware is much more expensive. I think your main issue is you have the cheap GX-80 and don't like me suggesting it just sounds like any soft synth, which it does. I got it to trial. Nothing like a CX-80, nothing like a GX-1. Should be called Cherry Audio, another soft synth. Dude is clouded. So he says it should be called Cherry Audio, another soft synth. Cool. We got you, Kevin Slaney. We on your bumper. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and compare the GX-80 to the real CS-80. No, I don't have a CS-80, but I know somebody who does. I'm gonna check out this video and I'm gonna go through. Now, fair use, G-Force, this is fair use. This is for studying and this is just to test out the quality. So please don't hit my channel. So we're just doing testing here, okay? Fair use. Now, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna play what they have in the video, and then I'm gonna compare that to the GX-80. So I'm gonna try to match it exactly how they have it in the video. Now, it's impossible to get it exactly because some of the views in the video are like weird, and so you can't kind of see everything that's going on as far as where the controls are, but I can get it close enough. So keep that in mind, guys. The point is not to get it to sound exactly like the hardware. That's not what we're worried about. He said it sounds nothing like the CS-80 and should be called Cherry Audio, another soft synth. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man.
Pulse width ranging between 50% and 90%.
All right, let's test the pulse width. So I have the GX-80 here. I'm going to click on new, and that resets everything to the default. And so let's take a look at the video and see if we can make sure we have everything set how he has it in the video. Okay, so we have both of them here. Let me just make sure I have everything set here. And so he's on the pulse wave, so we'll go pulse. Now these controls, of course, are not in the CS-80, but that's okay. So let's go over here. Everything looks good. Let's do that. We'll change that. Go there. We'll change that. All of these are down. I can't see that, so that's whatever. And so let's take a listen. Next,
The pulse width modulation slider then works with a speed slider to give us proper pulse width modulation. The speed can go from very slow to super fast.
now before he jumps into that, let's just test that out really quick. Let's see what we got. Okay, next.
And this alone allows us to coax all manner of sounds from the one waveform switch.
Okay, let's test that out. You don't say. That almost sounds just like the video. Now, granted, there's going to be a little bit more weight and heft on the actual CS-80 because it's analog, but that almost sounds identical. Next.
And while there's resonance available for both modes, neither of them stray into self-oscillation territory. In fact, the filters are simple.
Let's test it out. So there's still some pulse width modulation going on there, so I'm going to try to get it to sound as close as possible, but let's just test it out and see here. So got it around 3 there. That's all the way down there. This is down there. Let's see.
dB per octave filters, and while they're versatile enough, they are not what you would call powerful. But what I find fascinating is that when certain more powerful filters have become almost fetishized over the years, even with its somewhat lowly filters, the CS can still create beautifully deep and moving sounds. As you'd expect though, the permutations of both a high pass filter and low pass.
Let's test it out. Sounds like a CS-80 to me. Let's go ahead and get to the next part.
Next up is a sine wave slider. Now this bypasses all the VCF controls and can be used to add some oomph to the overall sound. By turning down the VCF level control, you can also use this in isolation. And if you refer to the opening piece, those bell-like tones were created using only the sine wave in isolation.
Okay. Now it sounds like there's some effects on there, like some reverb or some chorus or something. There's definitely like a pedal or something he's got on that synth, but that's okay. I'm gonna turn on this reverb here and just leave it at the default. Turn it dry down some. Let's see. Oh, actually, let me go back to the video and match up everything. So let's see. That looks like it's the same. All right, let's test it out. Okay, so Kev, you still think the GX-80 don't sound like the CS-80? Anyway, that's the end of this video. You let me know what you think about this video. Do you think the GX-80 sounds like the CS-80? Let me know in the comments below. Drop a comment below, man. My personal opinion, the GX-80 is so close to the CS-80. It's crazy. It sounds extremely close. Now, you know, of course, the actual CS-80 is a little more thick, a little more rich, a little more full, but that's to be expected. But Cherry Audio is so close. It's like, who cares? Is it worth you paying $10,000 to go get a CS-80 to get just a little bit more of the no, not in my opinion. It's not today. But anyway, man, this is That Guy Face Music Media. Go get the Sweet Fusion preset pack. We have crazy presets for GX-80 in there. We have presets for most of the other Cherry Audio synthesizers. So, you know, you want to check the pack out, man. So head over to realloops.com. But hey, this is That Guy Face. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed the content, hit the bell for notifications and hit the thumbs up, you know. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check out the playlist for the singles. They will be in the description. So go ahead and check those out. But anyway, this is That Guy Face Music Media. We out of here.